What's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show every 24-hour day. I'm your host, Brendan Abbott, with my co-host, Nigel Patterson.
Hello, everybody.
Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hopefully, everybody was safe over the weekend and got to enjoy themselves, get a little break from what the real world is that many people endure throughout the week. Lord knows that I did, definitely for sure. Nigel, how was your weekend?
Oh, it was a weekend, man.
It was a weekend.
Yeah, it was a Saturday and Sunday.
What occurred on these Saturday and Sunday for you?
Some stuff happened.
Some stuff?
Yeah.
It's very vague, Nigel.
I'm a vague guy. Nah, but for real, Saturday, what did I do Saturday? Saturday, I think I went with my mom. I hung out with her. And then Sunday, I went to a speech event.
Oh, how did that go?
Oh, it was interesting.
What was the speech about?
It was about some stuff.
Huh?
Some stuff. You know.
I don't know. No, that's the thing.
For real. It was a Japanese speech contest.
It was a Japanese speech contest.
Yeah.
How does that work?
They have to write up a speech in Japanese, and they have to just do it. Speak in Japanese.
Oh, so you had to speak in
No.
Oh.
I ain't getting in front of no crowd.
I don't know. You would never go. I mean, think about it. Isn't it your exam, your final exam in a
I have to do that for a grade, though. That's different.
No, but you said
I don't have a choice to do that.
But you make it sound like you can never do it. But I mean, technically, you could.
I could.
Forced.
If I'm, put a gun in my head. But you do things if you were forced to do them.
Yeah, that's what
you typically would.
I know, I'm not that, but I'm saying you made it sound like, oh yeah, like you might have been in front of the crowd, maybe doing the Japanese speech contest. I don't know. I don't know what you have to do.
I was just watching.
Well, is it required by class for you to attend that?
No, it was just something that was happening. And I was like,
where was this held?
It was at George Washington University.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And who specifically was in this contest?
Just people from around the country.
Around the country?
Yeah.
So who could articulate the Japanese language the best?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Actually.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wow.
What did you do?
What I did?
Yours is way more exciting than what I did.
I mean, I went down to Old Dominion University alumni. Had to go and show love to my alma mater.
Your old stomping ground.
Yeah, I had to go back there, show love to them, and enjoy the homecoming weekend.
Right.
I actually went to an anime con.
Yeah, you told me that. How'd that go?
It was cool. Like, you saw, like, they have shout out to our former co-host Rashad Pennell, who actually we went together.
Shout out to Rashad.
Yeah, the first convention I've been to, but he's been to one beforehand. So
Weebs, bro.
He said,
the weebs.
Really?
All of you guys.
Here's the funny thing, though.
That disgusts me.
Everybody's into something that people... Yeah, when we discussed you. Yeah. Everybody's into... Here's the thing. Anime's on the rise, man. Everybody else acts like they're not into certain things. They don't really mess up. And Lord knows, lo and behold, that's what they low-key watch anime behind closed doors. They just don't want people to know about it. And I'm like, what is there to be ashamed of for real? Like, you don't got nothing to be it's like everybody has a hobby, a fascination.
The more disgusted I get.
You watch anime too. Yeah, you do.
Don't out me like that.
No, outing you. Like it's just like, okay, why do people feel like they have to hide those kind of things? Like, why is it?
You're a loser if you watch anime.
How does that make you a loser?
It's just like the people who play like Dungeons and Dragons, for example. They're just losers. It's just the way it's perceived.
So are comic book people losers too?
Absolutely.
But everybody goes to watch the new comic movies.
Difference between reading a comic and watching a
there's a base from it.
But you can follow something without watching the base.
No, but here's the thing though. But the people don't get the in-depth storyline of it if they don't.
That's the part that makes you a loser.
No, it doesn't, because so I guess that makes whoever follows 50 Shades of Grey in depth a loser.
Yes.
That makes it. No, it doesn't. They're not considered
if you
losers.
Follow something in depth, you immediately are perceived. I'm not saying you are. I'm saying you're perceived to be a loser. If you know like every single line from 50 Shades of Grey, and you can tell about every single character, about every single background, every single storyline, yes, you'll be seen like you'll be that weird person. You'll be like, why do you know so much about that? You will be considered weird.
I think it's just nonsense though, because I think everybody has their things that they're into. Like some people are weird. Like, I don't know if they would be considered weird for how people are into fashion.
Yes.
Some women, some women are into fashion, the way some women are into makeup.
Yes.
But it was like by men's stand. I mean, are men calling them weird because they're so into makeup? When?
If they're like, again, it depends on like how far you're going. If they're talking about they just know how to do like cool things with their makeup, no, that's fine. But like if you know like the little details about how makeup how it became popular and and you know like tricks that aren't done anymore, like old school kind of things, then yeah, you're considered weird.
I don't think that's weird. I think it's a different, unique kind of look.
I'm just saying what it's perceived as.
Why? I honestly,
we're not philosophers. We don't judge that kind of thing. You talk football, we talk basketball, we talk like 1% baseball, and we pretend like we're gonna talk about hockey one day, but we're really never going to.
We've done some boxing. We've done some UFC.
Do like so my fault. We do like 1% boxing and like 1% baseball, and then
I mean, it's like 3% baseball. No. I mean, we talked about baseball at least 3 to 4 times. 2.3%. And UFC has been talked about at least like once or twice on the show.
I said 1%. 1% of our shows.
And hockey's been mentioned in passing.
I said that.
Eventually.
Yeah. I literally just said.
You did.
We're gonna act like we're gonna talk about hockey, and it's never gonna happen.
You did.
Because we're never actually gonna sit down and watch a season.
Even
though we will sit there, we will watch a game, and every time we watch a game, we're like, "Yo, hockey's really exciting."
Every time,
and then we never watch it.
Every single time,
it doesn't make any sense.
Literally happens. We'll watch an amazing hockey game.
We watched what was the playoffs 2 years ago? I think.
Yeah, we watched a couple of games. Stanley Cup playoffs. Yeah,
and just never. And we said next season.
Every time.
Next season, we were like, "We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch at least some games."
Because here's the thing, though. I don't like to cheat viewers. Okay, I don't want to give them some false perception as if I understand a sport more than I do. So hockey is the main thing of that of a sport that I don't want to portray as if I understand it more than a viewer might, or somebody that they're gonna call me on something I say wrong about hockey, or I'm gonna say a certain player is good when I don't know it to that degree where I can speak on it to that level or that high. Basketball, football, baseball, at this point I have a sound understanding of each of those sports. Boxing as well, to a degree, that I have a sound understanding of each of those sports where I can talk about it, debate about it, articulate myself about each of those sports to a in-depth degree that the casual watcher might not be able to touch into those sports. But when it comes to hockey, nope.
That's why you're the LeBron James of our show.
What the heck does that even mean?
You're all around.
All around.
I'm giving you a compliment. What you
no, I know. I just didn't know what it meant. That's why I asked. I was like,
all around. You got your 3 sports, and then you got your other little things you're filling in.
So filling in. Filling in. Yeah, filling in. What is LeBron's 3 things that he fills in?
I mean, he got the points, the rebounds, and the assists. He has the occasional jump shot. He has the occasional defense. He's the occasional coach.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. All right, y'all, we're gonna right before we jump into this show. Remember, you all can follow and subscribe to the KBR Sports podcast. I'm going on Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, and I think and iTunes as well. Also, don't forget you can follow the KBR Sports Twitter page by going to KBR_sports with the live links and show topics of Twitter prior to every single show. Also, don't forget you can call in at 571-991-0566 to give your thoughts and opinions on any KBR Sports show topic that may be getting discussed. Also, don't forget that the show streams live every Monday, Wednesday, and select Fridays from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So don't forget, y'all, to make sure you tune into the show anytime you get a chance live.
Anytime.
So just to give you all a rundown of our topics for today, we're going to do, obviously, we do every Monday, NFL Reaction Monday. Depending on if we made predictions the week before, it'll be NFL Correction Monday, where we actually compete off against who got the most predictions correct. So today will be NFL Reaction Monday. So we'll go through a lot of the games that happened this weekend and give our thoughts and opinions on everything that happened, and we'll also touch on a lot of the NFL altercations that happened this weekend, and some discipline was handed down, but were the proper people disciplined, and we give our thoughts and opinions on that. Also, a surprising start for one NBA team that many people didn't anticipate to be this hot coming out the gate. But what do we think about the early start, and how long can they sustain it? All right, y'all, we're going to jump into our first thing, where we're going to talk about the NFL Reaction Monday. So, Nigel, it seems like we have a lot of games to get into that either people just didn't see coming, or sort of a thing that a lot of people just were caught off guard. A lot of people were like, oh, well, that's just par of the course sort of thing. So we'll touch on a lot of things. So, Nigel, if I had to say one team that you take away from this weekend that really jumped out at you, who was that team, and how big of a win was that did they have that made you really have to give them acknowledgement for this weekend's games?
I know you asked me a question, so I'm gonna do what I typically do.
Oh,
and, kind of circumvent your question.
Oh my gosh.
There are 2 teams on this list.
Okay.
The Eagles, obviously the 2 biggest blowouts of the season, the week 2. The Eagles and the Rams are separating themselves from just everyone else in the NFL right now. Would you say a fair agreement on that?
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm saying.
Because, I mean, the Eagles dismantled, took apart. You're better at the edges than I am. The Broncos, and it was not pretty. And the Rams pretty much made the Giants think about if their season's even worth playing anymore.
Essentially.
So those two teams, I think, are now those were the two far and away teams that are just better than everybody else. The most surprising, you asked me what was most surprising.
Yeah.
That and probably the Seahawks. No, not the Seahawks. It was the Jets. That's who it was. The Jets putting the work on the Bills. The Jets alone, they're not falling back. They're just kind of just sitting there. They're not gonna catch the Patriots or anything, but they're just kind of sitting there.
I think that the team that impressed me the most was the Eagles.
Yeah.
Because one, you did it against an impressive Denver Broncos defense. Yeah. Broncos defense that coming into this week was number 1 in all around defense. So when you can hang up 52 on them, and you can give them, you make them, or 51. Sorry, 51. Yeah, you put up 51 on that defense, and Carson Wentz goes for 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean,
less than 200 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, literally, and then it's the first game for Jay Ajayi as an Eagle, and he goes for 77 yards on 8 carries, average 9 yards per carry, and he had a touchdown as well. You look at this team, and this doesn't seem like there's any slowdown in how they're progressing and how they do things. So the Eagles definitely stood out from that perspective, just in terms of how they're doing it on both sides of the football. Now, to your Rams point, I will definitely give credence to the Rams, because here's the thing: the Eagles sit there at 8-1, right? They're 5-0 at home, so their one losses come on the road. And when you look at the Rams also have been looking really impressive. They're 6-2. They're 4-0 on the road. They beat the Giants, like you were saying, 51-17. And that Giants defense is no slouch either. Even though the Giants are a 1-7 team, that defense is still a talented defense. So when you see the kind of performance the Rams put on, where Jared Goff is 14 of 22 for 311 yards, 4 touchdowns, and I think that was the first time it's been done since the greatest show on turf back in 2000. So when you see how the Rams are playing and the Eagles are playing, I mean, it kind of makes you wonder, like, are these? Because okay, let's say, do people just give the Eagles the best team in the game tag because of their record, or are they really the best talented team on both sides? Like, do you think the Eagles from top to bottom are more talented than the Rams in the NFC? I'll give you a little bit of a roster rundown from what I can give you from based on my memory. Are you good off of it?
I think I'm just going off memory. I'm gonna say they're probably slightly more talented.
The Eagles are.
Yeah,
than the Rams.
Yeah. But I mean, you also got a big part of that is just because Jared Goff's playing. Not Jared Goff. Carson Wentz is playing better than
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, I know his name. That's just a big part of it. It's just when you're on the offensive side of the ball, whoever's just playing better. And Carson Wentz right now is MVP status right now. As the Goff who's just having a really good season.
But see, and that's the I get that point, and I think that's the reason why I don't know if I said it on the show last week, but I think I was saying that a lot of reason why I think a lot of people haven't sold out on the Rams yet, or haven't bought into the Rams, because of the fact that they don't believe in Jared Goff being able to sustain his high level of play. They don't believe in the fact that he will be able to guide the Rams offense. Like, I think, I don't remember if it was you or somebody else I was talking with, but I said if you take Jared Goff out, you put Phillip Rivers in, a lot of people would probably put the Rams as the best team in the NFC. But but because it's Carson Wentz and it's Jared Goff, people can't get that rookie year Jared Goff out of their mind. And it's not like Jared Goff has been he's not like lighting up in terms of numbers, but the Rams are the number 1 offense in the league though. So when you look at it from that vantage point, they're putting up a lot of points. They've shown up in every single game, even against quality competition in the Seahawks, and they're 1 catch away from even beating the Seahawks at home. So when you look at it from that standpoint, I mean, I think these teams are a lot more closer than a lot of people think. I mean, in terms of talent, I think the injury to the Eagles in terms of Jason Peters getting hurt was a big loss. Them bringing in Jay Ajayi definitely was a big for them, I think, because it gives you a 2-headed running attack in Jay Ajayi and LeGarrette Blount. And then when you run down the list of guys like Alshon Jeffrey and others, you give your team a way better chance to win. But then when you look at the Rams in terms of what they have on offense, I think a lot of it is predicates on Jared Goff. If Jared Goff plays like the MVP caliber player, then because think about it, the Rams got Todd Gurley, top 5 running back in the league by a lot of people's measurements. Then you have Aaron Donald, who's arguably the best defensive player in the game on their defense. Then you have guys like Sammy Watkins on offense. You got a guy like Tavon Austin. You got Cooper Kupp. You have different players who have shown they can step up for the Rams. And then also on the defensive side, you got a guy like Tremaine Johnson, who's a quality corner. Alec Ogletree's a quality linebacker. Connor Barwin. And it's like, it's one of those things that you kind of, I can kind of be like, I think the NFC East is definitely a tougher division right now than the NFC West. But I do think it's definitely a close knitted race between these two teams in terms of superiority in the NFC. Now, do you think the Eagles all around are the best team in the NFL?
Yeah.
So you would take the Eagles over the Patriots right now?
Would I take them over the Patriots? That's always like I say yes, but then it's like if it actually came down to it,
you wouldn't. It's like
I'd be like no.
Yeah.
I'd be like I still take the. But the Patriots are just such a safe bet. But their defense is still awful. Is the problem? They still give up the most yards per play, and it's just like but then it's like Tom Brady on the other side. It's like I know he's gonna put up points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take him.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go ahead and trust him
over Steelers.
Yeah.
That was no question.
Yeah. The only team I was thinking about in the AFC since Kansas City forgot to play football is the Patriots. Really.
Yeah. But what is it about? Like, that's the crazy thing about it, though.
You know what? There's one other team I will say I would be like. I would still take the Eagles, but I would be like
Seattle.
No.
Who?
Jacksonville.
Why Jacksonville?
It's just something like they just win games. Like, I don't understand it. They're not that good.
They're not.
But for whatever reason,
their defense is amazing.
Their defense is amazing.
Yeah.
And it just keeps them in games.
Oh, what do you say then that Jacksonville is like? Okay, I don't know how you put Jacksonville. You don't put Minnesota in there if you're going to talk about defense then. Because Jacksonville's defense is great, but so is Minnesota's defense.
Minnesota's is great. Minnesota, I think, actually is. Don't put me on that. Yeah, they're about the same on everything. Essentially.
Yeah.
The only thing is,
because you don't.
The Jacksonville's a better pass defense.
Yeah. So but the only thing, you just don't trust Minnesota in terms of quarterback, but you don't trust Blake Bortles for Jacksonville either.
Blake Bortles, he's just consistent. Like, he's just been consistently he's just average.
So is Casey Keenum.
No.
For the Vikings?
I don't.
For the Vikings?
I don't trust Casey Keenum. I don't trust Casey Keenum at all, though.
But here's the thing. How do you trust Blake Bortles when you don't trust Casey Keenum? Because Blake Bortles was terrible last year.
Blake Bortles was terrible. Casey Keenum's always been terrible.
But but you say he's consistent. You said he's consistent. You said he was consistent, though. Here's the thing. You said Blake Bortles was consistent. Casey Keenum's been consistent. From what we've seen from him this season, he has been consistent. And Teddy Bridgewater could come back this year.
He hasn't played. When's the last time he played?
Oh, a year and a half ago.
Exactly.
But he can still come back this year and still be an impact player for them.
He can come back soon. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But until then... I mean, a year and a half off.
Yeah,
that's a long time to get back to game speed.
It is don't get me wrong. I agree, it's a long time. But when you have that, how much do you really need to do? You have that good of a defense backing you, and you have a good run game with Latavius Murray, and so you don't. It's not like you're asking your quarterbacks to go out there and beat Aaron Rodgers.
Hold on for 1 second. So his best games have been against the Bucks. So he only 7 touchdowns on the season, but so far he had 3 against the Bucks and 2 against the Browns. It's 5 touchdowns against a team that combined for 2 wins and 16 losses.
You can only beat who you play.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so what do you think of the Saints?
They're such a the problem I have with the Saints are playing fine.
Wait, let me give some context to people. So the Saints right now are 6-2. Everybody
leading division.
So they lead the division. They just recently beat the Bucks at 30-10. So, but go on, give your point about what you think about the Saints.
The problem with the Saints is that the stigma is still there. The stigma that they can't play defense. The stigma that they will not play defense, and that they will give up huge amount of yards. In terms, and right now you can't outshoot the Eagles right now. Like outside of the Rams and the Eagles and the Patriots, those are your 3 that I'm just like, okay, those are the teams that you don't want to get a shootout into. And so it's like the Saints, and I just had the stigma of the Saints of just them still not being. I know they're playing well. They just I think they held somebody to 10 points. I forgot who they played.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. They also paid $10 on. Okay. And so, but it's just like the stigma is like they're going to give up 40.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. You look at it. You look at the Saints. The Saints, right? The Saints are an entirely different team than we've seen from recent years. The Saints' defense is 8th in scoring defense. They are 15th in yards allowed. But if you're holding them, if you're not letting them score when you get to the end zone, then that's a big deal.
The problem with them. All right, so they held the Dolphins to 0. They held the Bears to 12. The Bucks with Ryan Fitzpatrick playing most of the game to 10. The Packers without Aaron Rodgers to 17. It's like, again, their defense is better, but who have they played to even test their defense? I mean, the only team that they played was the Lions, and they held up 38.
So you're not going to give credit to a team just because they haven't...
I'm giving them credit. I'm giving them credit. I'm saying that giving them credit and saying I'm going to go ahead and take them for this defensive effort when they haven't played anybody worthy of really mentioning. Again, you can only play who you put in front of you.
Exactly.
You can take who's in front of you and say, okay, well, they still haven't shown us anything yet.
Okay, but then you could have said the same thing about the Panthers team that won 15-1 because that strength of schedule was weak, but they ended up going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl.
No, they didn't, but you still got to the Super Bowl. I mean, this Philadelphia Eagles team, they're 8-1. Yeah, they beat impressive teams. The Cardinals from that same year did that. Excuse me. The Seahawks from that same year did that, and they all ended up losing at the hands of Carolina. So when you look at these teams, all you need is a team to get on a roll and end up being able to put on an impressive performance. Would you take a Carson Wentz led offense over a Drew Brees led offense
this season?
Whatever
like
right now, whatever you take a Carson
from what he's giving me this season, yes, I would.
You would take a Carson Wentz led offense.
Now, yeah, I would take this Eagles offense. I'm not taking a Carson Wentz. I'll take this Eagle offense over. Hey, I don't care what you ask me.
It's the same question.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
You're
giving me a hypothetical when we have the actual offense right here, right now.
What is the hypothetical?
You ask me a Carson Wentz offense. Why not use this Eagles offense versus?
Because it's led by Carson Wentz.
No,
you're just rephrasing the question.
I am rephrasing the question to make it more sense. You're phrasing.
No. You want to know why I worded it that way? Because you want to know exactly what you said earlier in the segment. You said, I don't want to pick against Tom Brady. I just can't pick against Tom Brady. But guess what? The Eagles offense is playing better than Tom Brady's offense. So would you take a Carson Wentz offense over a Tom Brady offense? Would you say you wouldn't pick the Eagles over the Patriots?
I'm not going to pick against Tom Brady. I'm just not going to do
it. I'm not going to pick against Drew Brees.
Because it's Tom Brady. Is Drew Brees Tom Brady?
Is Carson Wentz Drew Brees?
No.
Come on, dog.
Yes, I'll still take this Eagles offense over the Saints offense.
Okay, so would you take this Eagles offense over the Patriots offense? No, I just don't get it. I don't understand. The Saints literally had the same exact record as the Patriots.
They do.
The Patriots haven't beat much more noteworthy team, so I'm not understanding the conflict here.
You're acting like there's nothing. Like, okay, honestly, you could say the same thing about Drew Brees.
Yeah,
but it's.
But
then you're also saying that Drew Brees is on the same level as Tom Brady.
I'm not saying in terms of accomplishment, no. In terms
of just being a player.
No, he's not on the same level as Tom Brady. But I mean, last week we did a classing of quarterbacks. Yeah. We put Drew Brees on the same class as Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
Those three are clearly. But it's not like there's not gaps between those.
No, there are gaps between those, but the gaps between those guys is a lot smaller than the gaps between them and the next class of guys. So the next class of guys being Carson Wentz or whoever else you want, even if Carson Wentz is even in that class, the gap between Tom Brady and then whoever else is a lot bigger. That's the thing.
At the end of the day, I still would probably take the Eagles offense.
You would still take the Eagles offense?
I probably would. I also said I'd take the Chiefs, so I mean, look, that's gone so far.
Okay, right real quick before we have to go to break, who'd you say your most disappointing loss was?
Who did I say my most disappointing loss was? Probably the Bills.
The Bills to the Jets.
Bills, yeah. Probably the Bills.
I'd probably say Kansas City.
Oh, I completely forgot about Kansas City. Kansas City was mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what happened? They were great.
They were great.
Rolling. You could have wrote them in the Super Bowl.
It seemed like they were on that track. Everybody's like, oh man. And this always happens for Kansas City, it seems. They always get that one big win over the Patriots that everybody's like, you know what? We got to take this team seriously. They beat Tom Brady. They beat Bill Belichick. We got to take this team seriously. We got to really put them up there. And granted, I'm not trying to fake on the Cowboys. The Cowboys aren't a good team. The Cowboys sitting there right now 5-3. They're vying for a wild card position right now because it seems like the Eagles are just running away with that division.
I mean, I don't think here. No, I'm not even gonna say that. Not even gonna say anything.
You're not gonna say nothing.
Nope.
Don't want to jinx it.
Nope.
So, right now, when you're looking at the standpoint, it's like the Kansas City Chiefs. They're such a talented team, but you would have hoped that they were going to come back and beat a Cowboys team that people were considering to be less. I mean, would you consider the Cowboys to be less talented than the Kansas City Chiefs?
Would you?
Kansas City got a lot of players.
So. I don't think so. I would think.
List top 10 players from each. We probably can't go 10 deep, but if you list the top 5 players from each team, I'd probably say Dallas wins. Dallas wins quarterback.
Yeah. Dallas wins running back.
Dallas wins running back.
Wide receiver.
Kansas City wins.
Yeah.
Kansas City takes wide receiver.
Kelsey versus.
Yeah, Travis Kelce. Tyreek Hill. Defense.
Hold on a second. Okay, no.
What?
I was thinking about receiver, but go ahead.
No,
I was thinking. I was like, you know what? No.
Okay, and then defense. Kansas City has a really talented defense. I mean, the way Justin Houston and them guys have been rushing the quarterbacks and stuff, I got to give them credit. Now, obviously, the injury to Eric Berry early in the season hurt their defense, but Marcus Peters and the rest have been playing at a high level still. But then this Dallas defensive line, all of a sudden, I don't know what it was.
Found out how to play defense?
They found out how to play defense. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden they just woke up and they were able to play defense. It's appalling to me. So, I think that for Kansas City...
Kansas City this year, 3rd in yards per play allowed. In terms of scoring, I mean, they're just average.
In terms of scoring defense?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Hold on a second. I mean, rush defense, they allowed 3rd most yards per rush. Scoring percentage.
But that's the thing.
They're below average there.
And that's the thing. So you're saying that the 6-3 you believe was a fluke, or
I don't think
the
it was
five
a fluke.
the 5-0 whatever the 5-0 by them was a fluke?
No, I don't think it was a fluke. But I think they're hitting a slump right now.
They're 1-2 in the last 3 games.
Yeah, I think they're just hitting a slump. I don't think it's a fluke though. I think this team. I mean, they were in the playoffs again. They were in playoffs last year. It's not like they were just like an afterthought in the playoffs. And they were serious contenders in the playoffs. I don't think this is a fluke. I just think they're in a little mini slump right now.
Okay, so what do you think of Alex Smith? Your elite quarterback.
My elite quarterback.
Your elite quarterback. I was waiting for this. I have been waiting for this. Oh, well, you have no idea. I have been waiting for Alex Smith.
Alex Smith is a talented quarterback. And a slump doesn't take you out of elite status. I'm not going to... I'm a rash person. And I would be like, Alex Smith, not elite. Oh, no, you know what? It doesn't take you out of it. A slight slump doesn't do it.
Wow. All right, y'all. So we're going to hit...
An elite quarterback.
He's still an elite quarterback.
Kareem Hunt got to pick it up, though.
You said Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
So you have everybody... well, yeah, I guess Kareem Hunt.
I mean,
yeah. He started off high.
Yeah, and he's kind of slowed down.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like he's trashing it. I mean, Alex Smith has been playing... He's not playing awful. He's not playing great, but he's not playing awful.
All right, y'all. So we're going to hit our first break of the night. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about...
Don't pick on me.
A cup... I'm not picking him. You're the one that is trying to defend him low key, and then you kind of backed up off him.
I ain't back up off him. Let's say he's up there.
So is he elite?
Yeah. I said he's still. So
he's still an elite quarterback.
Yes, I said this. I just
want to make sure I'm quoting you correctly.
He's an elite quarterback.
He's an elite.
Yes.
I can't wait till the end of the season. Just to pull up all your moments of you saying he's elite.
When he wins MVP.
When he
18 touchdowns, 1 pick. 18 touchdowns, 1 pick. There's still a chance.
Anyways, y'all, so we're going to head to our first break of the night. And when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about a couple of NFL players who got into altercations over the weekend. And should a certain number of players, or should all players, or should only one player got suspended or fined for the violations over the weekend? Stay tuned to find out what we think on KBR Sports, the best sports talk show, your 24-hour day. Don't forget that you can follow and subscribe to the KBR Sports Podcast. We're going on Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Also, don't forget that you can follow the KBR Sports Twitter page at KBR_Sports with the live links and show topics and tweet prior to every single show. Don't forget you can also call in at 571-991-0566 to give your thoughts and opinions on any KBR Sports show topic that we may be discussing. And also, don't forget the show streams live every Monday and Wednesday from 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. That way you can catch the show live, call in, and tweet live, so your tweets, your comments, and your calls can be put onto the show live, so your thoughts and opinions can be heard during the show. All right, y'all. So after we're gonna hit this break, wait about 50 to 60 seconds. The live link will disappear. Refresh the page, and the link will be back up for you guys to tune into us live. It's KBR Sports.
People are faking on Alex Smith.
Nobody's faking on Alex Smith, man.
Pro Football Talk. Is it crazy to think Andy Reid should have a plan for switching from Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes?
Just
if the current
real quick
trend continues.
real quick, bro.
I'm telling you,
quick.
Respect.
I'm saying, man. You're not no MVP. You need an MVP.